Hello friend, Mahau here. Today we're reading Genesis 18 and 19 only until verse 10. From the New Living Translation, it reads, The Lord appeared again to Abraham near the oak grove belonging to Mamre. One day Abraham was sitting at the entrance to his tent during the hottest part of the day. 2. He looked up and noticed three men standing nearby. When he saw them, he ran to meet them and welcomed them, bowing low to the ground. 3. My Lord, he said, if it pleases you, stop here for a while. 4. Rest in the shade of this tree while water is brought to wash your feet. 5. And since you have honored your servant with this visit, let me prepare food to refresh you before you continue on your journey. All right, they said, do as you have said. 6. So Abraham ran back to the tent and said to Sarah, Hurry, get 3 large measures of your best flour, knead it into dough, and bake some bread. 7. Then Abraham ran out to the herd and chose a tender calf and gave it to his servant, who quickly prepared it. 8. When the food was ready, Abraham took some yogurt and milk and roasted meat, and he served it to the men. As they ate, Abraham waited on them in the shade of the trees. 9. Where is Sarah, your wife? The visitors asked. She's inside the tent, Ibrahim replied. 10. Then one of them said, I will return to you about this time next year, and your wife Sarah will have a son. Sarah was listening to this conversation from the tent. 11. Abraham and Sarah were both very old by this time, and Sarah was long past the age of having children. 12. So she laughed silently to herself and said, How could a worn out woman like me enjoy such pleasure, especially when my master, my husband, is so old? 13. Then the Lord said to Abraham, Why did Sarah laugh? Why did she say, can an old woman like me have a baby? 14. Is anything too hard for the Lord? I will return about this time next year. Sarah will have a son. 15. Sarah was afraid, and so she denied it, saying, I didn't laugh. But the Lord said, No, you did laugh. Abraham went with them and sent them on their way. 17. Should I hide my plan from Abraham? Said the Lord asked. 18. For Abraham will certainly become a great and a mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth will be blessed through him. 19. I have singled him out, so that he will direct his sons and their families to keep the way of the Lord by doing what is right and just. Then I will do for Abraham all that I have promised. 20. So the Lord told Abraham, I have heard a great outcry from Sodom and Gomorrah because their sin is so fragrant. 21. I am going down to see if their actions are as wicked as I have heard. If not, I want to know. 22. The other men turned and headed towards Sodom, but the Lord remained with Abraham. 23. Abraham approached him and said, will you sweep away both the righteous and the wicked? 24. Suppose you find 50 righteous people living there in the city. Will you still sweep it away and not spare it for their sake? 25. Surely you won't do such a thing, destroying the righteous along with the wicked. Why you would be threatening the righteous and the wicked exactly the same? Surely you wouldn't do that. Should not the judge of all the earth do what is right? 26. And the Lord replied, If I find 50 righteous people in Sodom, I will spare the entire city for their sake. 27. Then Abraham spoke again, Since I have begun, let me speak further to my Lord, even though I am but dust and ashes. 28. Suppose there are only 45 righteous people rather than 50. Will you destroy the whole city for the lack of 5? And the Lord said, I will not destroy it if I find 45 righteous people there. 29. Then Abraham pressed his request further. Suppose there are only 40. And the Lord replied, I will not destroy it for the sake of the 40. 30. Please don't be angry, my Lord, Abraham pleaded. Let me speak. Suppose only 30 righteous people are found. And the Lord replied, I will not destroy it if I find 30. 31. Then Abraham said, Since I have dared to speak to the Lord, let me continue. Suppose there are only 20. Then the Lord replied, Then I will not destroy it for the sake of the 20. Finally, verse 32, Abraham said, Lord, please don't be angry with me if, uh, if I speak one more time. Suppose only 10 are found there. Then the Lord replied, Then I will not destroy it for the sake of the 10. 33. When the Lord had finished his conversation with Abraham, he went on his way, and Abraham returned to his tent. That is chapter 18. Now we're starting to 19. We're only reading from verse 1 to 10. That evening, the two angels came to the entrance of the city of Sodom. Lot was sitting there, and when he saw them, he stood up to meet them. Then he welcomed them and bowed with his face to the ground. To my lords, he said, come to my home to wash your feet and be my guests for the night. You may then get up early in the morning and be on your way again. Oh no, they replied. We'll just spend the night out here in the city square. 3. But Lot insisted. So at last they went home with him. Lot prepared a feast for them, complete with fresh bread made without yeast, and they ate. 4. But before they retired for the night, all the men of Sodom, young and old, came from all over the city and surrounded the house. 5. They shouted to Lot, where are the men who came to spend the night with you? Bring them out to us so we can have sex with them. 6. So Lot stepped outside to talk to them, shutting the door behind him. 7. Please, my brothers, he begged, don't do such a wicked thing. 8. Look, I have 2 virgin daughters. Let me bring them out to you, and you can do with them as you wish. But please leave these men alone, for they are my guests and are under my protection. 9. Stand back, they shouted. This fellow came to town as an outsider, and now he's acting like our judge. We'll treat you far worse than those other men. And they lunged towards Lot to break down the door. 10. But the 2 angels reached out and pulled Lot into the house and bolted the door. So that is chapter 9 from verse 1 to 10. And till tomorrow, stay blessed.